Hello, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. Hello, Georgie. For today's movie review, I will be reviewing It from Stephen King. This was a mini-series on TV. I don't know the year. It doesn't matter. The point is, many people see this movie as a classic. I think it came out in 1990, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, this movie is about these children who encounter a clown of sorts. And this clown embodies everything that they can fear and preys on them. And then the rest of the story is about them as adults and when they have to encounter this thing again. As I said, this was a mini-series and I have not seen this movie. So, what did I think about it? Well, let's get into that. I will say up front, as a movie, as a fully fleshed out movie, if you try to view it as such, it is very long. And admittedly, it does get a bit tiring at times, a bit boring. So, there is that. However, as a mini-series, I think it works well enough. Of course, the way that they did this was they would shoot around some of the death scenes. But the way that they did it, I think, makes sense. And sometimes that will actually work better for your movie. I will say that the kids did a pretty good job. And in fact, the child story is the one I was more interested in than when they were adults. I think the children were a bit more compelling, and I think just overall everything flowed better. However, when they became adults, things started to turn. For starters, you had a side kind of plot, mini plot, involving the wife of one of the characters. Wasn't really necessary and didn't add much overall. And the other thing is, you had this kid who grew up and was blamed for murders, and he has a little subplot too, which ultimately leads nowhere. So there's that. I'll say the practical effects of the time and the digital effects, well, not really much digital, but the practical effects of it, they look fine. You can tell they are dated, but it doesn't matter that they are. In fact, it didn't hinder the movie in any way for me. Again, this part of the appeal of this movie is you don't know what it is. You get an idea, but it can be kind of confusing how some of this plays out. And there are some convenient elements to it, admittedly. Again, this movie was a little too long for my taste at 183 minutes, and I had to flip the disc over because I got it on DVD, and having never seen it before, I thought it just ended kind of odd until I looked at some a review of it on Amazon and figured out, hey, I have to flip it. So there's that. As far as the It creature goes, I mean, clowns have naturally been scary to many people. So I don't particularly see that as anything new. It worked. Tim Curry as Pennywise was perfect on the spot. Excellent. As far as the other cast goes, again, the kids were all great. It's the adults that I had some issues with, and I'm not sure whether it was their acting or whether it was more or less the way the story was transpiring. Perhaps a little bit of both. Either way it goes, I was a bit disappointed by this movie, having seen all the high claim for it, and in fact they're remaking it coming this next year. So what would I give a movie so revered as Stephen King's It? Having no knowledge of the book and only basing this off the miniseries itself, I'd have to say I could really just take it or leave it. There's some memorable moments, sure, and there's some good parts, but it takes far too long to introduce us to every single character with their own flashback. And again, this does work better if you watch it as the miniseries format, as episodic versus streamlined movie like I did. However, it did bug me. And of course, you have some plot threads here or there that go off, and the second half involving them as adults just kind of left me underwhelmed. So giving it a rating 1 through 10, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Like I said, not the worst thing by any means. And clowns are creepy. But I believe that's a fair rating given everything. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this movie review. And if so, click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I do appreciate it. And until next time, peace.